In this episode,
I started my manifesting journey a decade ago, and there are amazing principles from the law of attraction, which we will keep today. But there are some parts of the law of attraction that we're going to let go or learn to look at differently. So our thoughts and our feelings actually affect and even create our reality. That is very much still valid, and we are going to keep that. What happens is what you believe is possible is conditioned by your past. Your energy is a combination of your thoughts and your feelings. But I'm not just talking about, you wake up cranky in the morning and then you're happy and then this and that. Like, we fluctuate our feelings and our moods all the time. I'm talking about even a deeper level. Hi guys, welcome to today's episode. The law of attraction is outdated. Now it's all about the law of reception. So let me put you on. In today's episode, I'm going to explain to you the latest manifesting technique that works so much faster, that makes so much more sense intuitively. And I'm also going to give you an exercise to do at the end of the episode so that you can start practicing this method immediately. So let's get into it. We've all heard of the law of attraction, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that if you've used the law of attraction to date, all your efforts have been futile. Absolutely not. I started my manifesting journey a decade ago with the documentary The Secret, as many people have. So The Secret is all about the law of attraction, and there are amazing principles from the law of attraction, which we will keep today. But there are some parts of the law of attraction that we're going to let go or learn to look at differently. Because what happens is, as time evolves, as science evolves, as research evolves, and as our understanding of the world around us evolves, we are refining the way we look at manifesting. So let's start by revisiting the law of attraction so we can address what we want to keep and what we want to let go before we get into the law of reception. So the law of attraction taught us that our thoughts actually affect our reality. It taught us that our feelings also affect our reality. Those principles are going to stay. So our thoughts and our feelings actually affect and even create our reality. That is very much still valid, and we are going to keep that. The law of attraction also taught us to have faith that things can work out, even when we don't know how they can possibly work out. We're also very much going to keep that one, okay? Having faith before you know how it's going to happen is still very important, because what happens is what you believe is possible is conditioned by your past. So we want to let go of the past. We want to create something new. And that starts with just the sheer belief that is possible before you understand how you can possibly do it. It's the faith, right? So from the law of attraction, we will keep the fact that our thoughts and our feelings do affect our reality. We'll also keep the fact that faith is a crucial part of manifestation. Now, let's get into the part of the law of attraction that we actually want to let go or start to look at differently. Let me put it this way. At one point in time, the motto was, it's all about the chase. And then the motto became, I don't chase, I attract. Now, the new motto is, I don't attract, I receive. Now, you might be asking, what is the difference? Like, literally, what is the difference? Well, I'm going to explain it to you, and I'm going to break it down. It actually matters once you understand the difference in the actual principle, okay? On a high level, chasing means you are aggressively going after something. You're kind of trying to force it, okay, instead of feel into it. Attract is a bit better because you're already working on your feelings instead of just in the do, action, but not working on your energy, right? So it is better to attract than to chase, but attract still implies some kind of tension. You are like pulling it towards you. You are attracting it. There's still some tension there, okay? So the law of reception will show you why you can just receive with ease. You have to change from the inside, and then you will just receive the reality you want. Now, you will understand once I actually explain the law of reception. Okay, let's get into it. So first, I want you to imagine a radio. For you Gen Zers, go and Google up what a radio is. But basically, in a radio, you tune the dial, you change the frequency, and you access different stations. And all of a sudden, you're listening to oldies.
Sherry, Sherry lady, going through emotion.
Then you change the frequency of the radio and you turn it to another station with a different frequency. Now all of a sudden you're listening to rap music. Change the frequency again, you change the dial. Now all of a sudden you're listening to the news. Change the radio one more time to a different frequency and a different station, and now you're listening to house. The fun thing about a radio is that whether you were changing that frequency to a certain station or not, those stations are always existing. Like right now in front of you, I can put a radio next to me and I can turn it on and I can turn it to a certain frequency and receive the music on that station. But with the radio turned off, I can't perceive it. I cannot receive the music or what is being transmitted on that frequency, right? But it's still there. It's all around me. It's in the radio waves. It is all around me. So the idea is, depending on where you tune your frequency to, you will receive whatever is being transmitted at that frequency, whether it's oldies, rap, news, techno, or whatever, right? Now, the same analogy works with us as people, only you are the radio. So when we're talking about you changing your frequency, okay, to tune into the station or to tune into the desired reality that you want to be in, well, what's also called your energy. But what does that really mean? Your energy is a combination of your thoughts and your feelings. But I'm not just talking about, you wake up cranky in the morning and then you're happy and then this and that. Like, we fluctuate our feelings and our moods all the time. I'm talking about even a deeper level. Your feelings towards certain situations, which exude from your deep-rooted beliefs around systems, around certain things in society and in life. For example, like if you have a deep-rooted belief that money is the root of all evil, then you are going to feel a certain way anytime money comes up, but you won't even know it. In your conscious mind, you might want money, you might want more of it, but if you have a deep-rooted belief deep down inside you that money is bad, or having money makes you a bad person, or only bad people have money, then that impacts how you feel around it. So anytime you are presented with an opportunity to manifest money, to make money, unbeknownst to you, you are going to repel it because inside you, you don't feel comfortable with it. So that is how you operate on an energetic level. Same with if you were raised, for example, as a woman who was told the woman's place is in the house. So that affects how you feel towards working, even though you might in your conscious mind not believe that. In your subconscious mind and body, you are operating at a level that perhaps has shame or guilt around being a successful woman. So I could go on forever on examples of deep-rooted beliefs, but basically when we talk about your energy and your frequency, it does mean if you're happy or you're sad, but it also is a step further than that. It's a step further because you need to also clear out what's holding you back from operating at a certain frequency, right? So this is what affects your frequency, your energy. It's how you show up in the world day to day. Of course, like if you have that limiting belief around money, if you have that belief that money is the root of all evil, that doesn't mean you've never felt happy around money. Like someone could give you $100 today and you'd be like, woo, I just got $100, just won the lottery. I won $100 and you'll feel happiness towards money, right? But also, in a different situation, you might see, for example, you might see someone just made $1 million and then you'll just go like, ugh, of course, or, just like have just a bad visceral reaction towards it, right? So know that when I'm saying your feelings towards it is not just the temporary, momentarily fleeting feelings. It is the deep-rooted beliefs in your subconscious that cause you to emit constant feelings toward it. So now back to our radio and back to manifesting. So similar to a radio, attuning its frequency to tune into a certain station, okay, that it wants to listen to, that person wants to listen to, you can also attune your frequency to match the desired reality that you want. Because the second your frequency is equal to the frequency of the reality that you want, the second it's equal, then you are living in that reality, then you receive it, then you manifest it. Now, a key fundamental difference in the law of reception is the understanding that absolutely anything you may want to manifest already exists as a possibility. It already exists. Just like that radio station of rap already exists, you just aren't tuned into it. Whatever you want already exists. You just aren't tuned into it. That's why you're not receiving it. But that reality is already floating out there. Okay, now it's going to get a little wonky, so stay with me. Anything that you could possibly want in life or not want, any potential reality that could occur in the future already exists right now as we are having this conversation. It exists as a potential reality, okay? This is what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it, a potential reality. So let me give you an example. There is a potential reality that exists that in an hour, I'm going to meet up with my best friend and I'm going to have a coffee with her. That's a potential reality that could very well happen in 1 hour. Another potential reality is that we call each other to set up the coffee date, but she can't go. That's a potential reality that could happen. Another potential reality that could happen is that we set up the date, I go, I sit in the cafe, but then something happens to my friend on the way there. She has an emergency, she just needs to go and she can't make it. That's like a potential reality that could happen. Now, anything I could think of could happen. How about me and her go on a coffee date, and while we're there an hour from now, she meets the love of her life. Like any potential reality could happen. So learn to look at what could happen in the future as a potential reality. Like anything you could dream up of, just understand that's a potential reality. It could go any way. There's a potential reality that you win the lottery tomorrow. There's a potential reality that tomorrow you get a job interview. There's a potential reality that you get the job. There's a potential reality that you don't get the job. There's a potential reality that in a week from now, you'll be in a different country. There's a potential reality that in a week from now, you'll just be sitting at home. Like anything you could think up of exists as a potential reality. Okay? I think I made that point earlier. Now, of all these potential realities that are floating around in outer space, that are here on the energetic quantum level, just like all those radio stations are floating around, how do we manifest the one that we want? Like, I want to have the $1 million. I don't want to, there's a potential reality that things can go horribly with this job I want to manifest. No, I don't want that potential reality. I want to get the job. I want to get the money. I want to get the health. I want to get the peace, right? So how do I receive the potential reality that I want? Because manifesting is all about intentionally creating your reality, right? Well, let me explain it to you. The potential reality that you want, okay, I'm going to give you a detailed example of this to make it more clear, but let me explain it on a high level first. The potential reality that you want has feelings associated with it, has frequencies associated with it, okay? You need to match that frequency so you can receive what is floating there, okay? You need to make your energy equal to the energy of that potential reality of you, and then it will become your actual reality. So I know it might still sound a bit abstract, but we're going to take it one level further so that you have no qualms about this, so that you understand it totally and fully. It really comes to life, and you really understand how when I'm going to give you this example right now. Because you might be thinking, like, how is that possible? I just start feeling a certain way and then something shows up. Just bear with me now. Let me give you an example of how this plays out, right? Let's take an example of a girl called Sophie. Okay. Sophie is from a small town, maybe in Albania. Okay. She's from a small town, wherever feels right to you. And Sophie works as a waitress, but she dreams of being a fashion designer. Like she has such a talent for drawing clothes and making them and bringing them to life. It's her dream to become a big time fashion designer. But right now she needs to work at the cafe to make ends meet, to make money, to support her life. So how can Sophie use the law of reception to manifest her desire to become a fashion designer? Well, first, she needs to envision that life really clearly. She needs to envision what would that life of hers as a fashion designer actually look like. So the first thing she will do, and the first thing you guys will do, is first envision that potential reality that you want in great detail. So you kind of have to play a movie in your mind of what it looks like. What does that potential reality that you want look like? So let's play that movie right now for Sophie. So in Sophie's mind, her dream of becoming a fashion designer looks a little something like she is successful, she is wealthy, she is creative, she is living the life of her dreams. She wakes up in the morning in her fancy penthouse apartment that she owns, and she has a coffee. She gets ready to go into the office, not because she has to, but because she wants to, because it's her passion, it's her life, it's her love. She does it for the love of the art, right? She gets ready and she puts on her fancy designer outfit that is couture, that is just styling and profiling. And she goes to her boutique office, right? In the big city of her dreams. That's where her penthouse is. She goes to her office, and that day she has an appointment with Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa is coming in to be styled by Sophie. So Sophie meets with Dua Lipa that day in her office. She designs a look for one of Dua's events. She has a good time with her. Dua leaves the office. Sophie continues her day at work. Her office smells of Chanel number 5. Okay. Her colleagues are so friendly, and like her whole office kind of looks like an episode of Emily in Paris. Okay. She has a nice little lunch in the middle of her day. Then she gets back to work and she gets so inspired and she creates the outfit for Dua. And then she goes home and continues the saga. So that's what a typical day in Sophie's dream life looks like. See how detailed I just got there. I literally just explained what Sophie is eating, what she's wearing, who she's seeing, what her reality smells like, what it looks like. I described to you every little detail of her dream life, of her dream potential reality, so much so that you could kind of see it like a movie in your mind. Okay, so that's the first step. You want to get really clear about which potential reality do you want out of the infinite possibilities that you could receive. You need to be clear about what do you want to receive. So create that movie in your mind. Second, we need to think about how this potential reality feels for Sophie. Like when Sophie is living this life I just described for you, what does that feel like for her? How does she feel on the day to day? Well, I bet she feels super grateful because she remembers coming from that small town and having those big dreams, and she made it. She made it. She's living the life she always wanted to, and she's super grateful. She never forgets where she came from or what it took for her to get there. Okay, she is just in awe of life. She feels creative because she's getting to do what she loves. She's using her creative juices. She feels so stylish. She feels confident. She's really come into her own. She exudes fabulousness. Okay, Sophie is killing it. She feels like a gajillion bucks. Okay, so we understood what Sophie's potential reality would look like. We also took a moment to understand how that reality would feel, because those feelings I just described, that's the frequency. That is the frequency of her desired reality. We talked about the radio. We talked about tuning into a frequency. So that's the frequency, how she will feel. So I explained to you the frequency of her desired reality, the frequency of her future, the station that she wants to tune into. But how does now Sophie begin to match that frequency? How can she begin to match those feelings? How can she feel rich and abundant and accomplished and styling and profiling when her life is the furthest thing from that? She's working in this restaurant that she kind of hates. She has a toxic boss. She's broke. Okay. She owes her friend some money. She just like is not feeling great, and is her situation and her external situation is just not it at all. So how could she possibly feel so successful, accomplished, abundant? How could she possibly start exuberating those feelings when her actual life in her mind sucks? Okay. Or not necessarily sucks, but it's just like so far from that reality that, like, how could she possibly feel that way, you know? Well, I'll tell you. Firstly, you need to understand that your mind doesn't know the difference between the reality that you are living in your mind and the reality you are living outside. So that means you can actually trick your mind and your body into feeling any way you tell it to. You don't have to be affected by your external reality. You can choose to feel any type of way. It's like, oh, that's a life hack. That's a trick right there. You can choose to feel how you want to feel, regardless of your external circumstances. Now, of course, feeling rich and abundant and wealthy and secure is a bit harder when you might have a situation where you're struggling financially, right? It is harder, but it's not impossible. When you know that that's the right step to take, then at least you can focus there. You can focus internally. So let me tell you what Sophie can do to match the frequency of her desired reality. Firstly, in her desired potential reality, Sophie was feeling grateful for everything she had. She was looking back at where she started, and her heart was like overwhelming with gratitude at what she accomplished. So how can Sophie begin to feel grateful right now? Well, it just happens with a shift in mindset. She can choose where she wants to focus, just like a director in a movie who focuses in on the detail he wants you to focus in on. In her own life, Sophie can choose to be grateful that she even has a job at all, because guess what? No one is forcing her to go there. If tomorrow she got fired or somehow she lost that job, it would probably make her situation a bit more difficult, wouldn't it? So that's why she's going in the first place. So rather than going there and dragging her feet and focusing on how much she hates all her colleagues, she can switch her mindset and focus on, you know what? This is not where I want to be. This is not it for me forever, but I am grateful for this job right now because it's serving a purpose in my life right now. It's allowing me to pay my bills right now. So I am going to go in every day cultivating the feeling of gratitude. When these toxic people come up to me, I'm going to choose to not focus on them. I'm going to choose to redirect my energy, right? I'm going to choose to feel confident about myself. So this whole part of how to change your frequency and your energy to match that of your desired reality, I mean, this little chunk right here is what most of my episodes are going to be about, because there are endless ways to switch your vibration. There's endless ways to change up your vibration. And that's where the inner work comes in on. In this episode, I just want to show you the path. I mean, this change in energy and frequency can happen through affirmations, through meditations, through therapy. Because again, some things are easy to change with just a mindset switch. Some things are deeper rooted that stem from traumas. So for some people, changing certain beliefs and clearing out certain feelings that keep them from being in their desired frequency, it takes a bit more inner work. And sometimes that means therapy, conventional or unconventional, right? But at least you know that is the path. So again, to reiterate, in order to manifest her desired reality, Sophie, from now in her current situation, in her small town where she is living, broke and owing money to her friends and feeling kind of frumpy, feeling kind of also probably feeling like she's never seen anyone in her town become this big name fashion designer. So also she's limited by what she's seen around her. But again, back to that faith. You have to believe you can do it. Just because no one in your town has done it doesn't mean it's not possible. You're just probably programmed to think that because you're basing your reality on people around you. It is absolutely possible, right? So Sophie starts to work on her energy, just like we described. Okay. Now what happens? How does the law of reception like play out in this case? Okay. I'm going to paint two scenarios for you. One scenario where Sophie is practicing the law of reception, and another scenario where she's not. So, scenario one, it's just her daily life, and Sophie is not practicing the law of reception, and she's not even thinking about trying to manifest her desired reality. She's not thinking about that fashion designer dream of hers. She thinks about it every now and then. Okay, it's a dream in her heart, but she doesn't believe it's possible. So she just goes to work and goes on with her life. She's not actually actively trying to change her frequency or her energy in this scenario. So there she is at work, and because she like is so bummed about everything around her and feels kind of defeated and has no hope for something better. It's kind of just like accepting the status quo. She feels quite uninspired, and she shows up to the table, taking people's order, transmitting that energy of like hopelessness or bummed out or kind of like jilted that, you know, maybe she sees other people manifesting their dreams or seeing other people becoming fashion designers, and she just thinks if only she had the funds or if she only was born somewhere else she could have done it. So she shows up to take people's order, transmitting that energy of defeat, of sadness, of hopelessness, and it really radiates. People feel it. So when she shows up to the table, maybe she's in a bad mood, and the conversation doesn't last very long. Like, it doesn't go very deep. Just like, can I take your order? Would you like fries with that? And we go on, right? So there it is. That's her day-to-day job, and things happen in and out, and that's it. Now, let me paint for you another scenario, a scenario in which she is working on her energy. So in scenario number 2, Sophie has been actually working on her energy. She's been working on trying to feel those feelings before her external reality actually changes. So what that means for her is she goes to work, but she goes with a heart of gratitude. She goes with, I am thankful I have this job that is supporting me towards the next step. This is not my forever job, but it is providing something for me right now, and I'm grateful. So she's working on her gratitude. When there's like super rude customers at work, she has worked on putting a block there and not letting their negativity affect her. She just says, you know what? I feel bad for them. They're having a bad day, but I'm not going to let them derail me. Okay. When her toxic boss comes around, she just doesn't pay him much mind. She just like internally has a block there. She lets him say whatever he wants, but she doesn't really give too much of her soul to that. She's purposely focusing her energy on other things, and she doesn't have any ounce of energy to waste on things that aren't going to support her. She's working on it. She's working on her energy, right? So when she goes home, she's actually like drawing out her designs because she's practicing it, because it makes her feel creative, right? In that potential reality, she was feeling creative. So now to cultivate that feeling inside her, she's actually feeling creative. And instead of focusing on the fact that she's in a small town and, you know, no one makes it anywhere, she actually is watching stories of how crazy people have made it before. She's looking at like the story of how Gucci was created and Giorgio Armani and Louis Vuitton, how they all started like from humble beginnings and all. Like she is really immersing herself in, I'm going to focus on like things that support my journey, right? So she's feeling good. She's going to work feeling very cutesy, very demure. She's going in feeling styling and profiling, because it's not about her looks. It's really not about her looks. It's about how she feels. So she puts herself together enough to feel good, because in that potential reality that she wants, in that desired reality, she was going to work feeling styling and profiling. Like she is in the fashion world. So she now is already practicing, even though she's just going to work at her restaurant in this small town, she shows up looking fashion because that is who she is. She's embodying it fully. So Sophie is in the same reality, but she's feeling different. She's been doing the work, right? Sophie gets to work one day. She has a conversation with one of her customers who she's taking their order. It's another lady who's also sitting down looking very fashion. Maybe the conversation just starts like, "Ooh, I like your jacket. Ooh, I like your blouse." And they're like, "Oh, thank you. It's Loro Piana." And, "Oh, thank you. Mine is vintage. I got it at the flea market." But it's like one of a kind, right? So that's the thing. Like you don't need money to be fashion. To just a side note, she could be styling and profiling, and it's not ever about the brand. It's about how you carry yourself. It's about selecting the pieces, right? So maybe the lady sitting down is wearing this nice fancy brand and she recognizes that it's a nice piece because she's into fashion. And she herself also looks amazing, but she didn't spend a lot of money. She just spent energy on it. She went to the thrift store. She put herself together. And guys, anyway, not to derail, but this happens all the time. I remember being in San Francisco. I saw like the cutest girl ever. She was a hostess at a restaurant. I asked her where she got her skirt, and she was like, "I thrifted it." And it was like, damn, that's crazy because I could never ever get that skirt even if I wanted to. Like there was no brand. She was so style, and it was a one of a kind piece. So there's no excuses about why you can't feel like you want to. Money is never an excuse. Okay, back to our story. So these two girls hit it off. They're just like, "Oh, you're cute. You're cute. I like your this. I like your that," as very often happens with girls. Okay. And then they get to talking. Okay. And then this lady happens to be a fashion designer herself. And then Sophie tells her, "Oh my gosh, I have like all these designs I've been working on. Actually, I have my notebook in the car. Do you mind if I just grab it and show it to you?" And the lady's like, "Okay, why not?" Sophie grabs her notebook. She shows her designs. The lady is floored by how amazing they are. She says, "Come work with me." Boom. The door opens right there. Her story begins right there. And step by step by step by step, Sophie goes on to become that crazy fashion designer that we described. Now, everything I just explained to you is not like so hard to conceive. It's not inconceivable. Everything I just described to you can easily happen and probably has happened. Like her running into someone at work. Actually, people who work in this service industry, they have the advantage of that they get to meet so many people that come through those doors, right? So what I just described to you happens very, very, very often. So what is the difference here? The key difference is that on any given day, someone could have walked into Sophie's restaurant that could have changed her life or could have given her the right opportunity that set her in the right direction. Had nothing to do with her external circumstances, had everything to do with her internal energy. So when she wasn't working on her energy, that exact same lady was her customer. But because she showed up looking frumpy and feeling frumpy, they never even had that conversation. And maybe she saw her nice blazer, but because she was kind of like in a low vibe, she didn't even talk to her. Or even if she said like, nice jacket, maybe the lady like didn't didn't really like feel called to react because your energy speaks louder than your words, right? In the second scenario, she shows up styling, profiling, and exuberant. She's going places. You can feel it. And it's that energy that makes those people want to work with you, right? So that is the key difference. In both scenarios, both frequencies were there. Both opportunities were there at the exact same time. It's only by having switched her energy and her frequency that she could receive what was already there. It was always there. She just wasn't able to perceive it or receive it before. So likewise, you have to do the same in your life. Likewise, absolutely anything you want is already there. It's already available to you. It's already going on around you all the time, but you will not act on it. You will not feel it. You will not even perceive that there's an opportunity right there in front of you until you tune into that frequency, until you change your energy. And as you start changing your energy along the way, you are going to see little step by step by step, things are just working out for me. Like, what? This is coming out of the sky. This is coming out of nowhere. It feels crazy. It really feels like it's falling out of the sky, but it's not. It's that you are able to perceive it now. And it's not like you're doing nothing. You are doing the work, but the major work comes from the inside out. That's like going to therapy. That's like practicing feeling a certain kind of way. It's removing your limiting beliefs so that you can take the needed actions, right? Sophie still went home and she worked on her designs. But she worked on her designs in both realities. The difference is now her designs, actually, she believed in them and she believed in herself enough to not know how she was going to get there, but she believed in the vision enough to say, hey, can I show you my notebook? You know, just not even wondering what might happen next, just out of her energy, out of her heart. So that's how the law of reception plays out in reality. Okay, guys, so that was the whole law of reception. But now I want to tell you how you can start to practice it immediately in your life. So let's kind of recap the steps. And I want you to actually do this as an exercise. Like, I want you to get a pen and paper and do this right now. Okay, first step. I want you to close your eyes and play the movie in your mind of your desired reality. What is it that you want in life? What does your dream life look like? Don't even for a second think about limitations or your current circumstances. Guys, it's a movie, right? So close your eyes and envision the life that you want to live and start playing it out like a movie in which you're watching yourself as the main character. And I want you to get so detailed in this movie. I want you to like totally imagine it. What are you wearing in that desired reality? What does it smell like around you? What are you eating? What do you look like? What kind of people are you interacting with? Play out that movie in your mind right now of the reality that you want to manifest and go wild with it, guys. Dream big, make that movie in your mind. After you do that, and while you're doing that, I want you to start to note how you're feeling. Like, I want you to make this movie in your mind so real that you can actually start to feel what it would feel like to be there, okay? So what are you feeling like? Start to pay attention. What do you feel like in that future desired reality of yours? Are you grateful? Are you abundant? Are you happy? Are you safe? Are you at peace? Okay, what is the feelings you are feeling in that desired reality? Take a moment to not only think about them, I want you to feel them as you're playing the movie in your mind and you're watching yourself, the main character. Okay, I want you to feel those feelings. Feel them. Step 3, I need you to write this stuff down. You're going to write down, firstly, your intention. Like, write down your desired reality in detail. Write it all down. What did it look like? Write it down. And second, write down how it felt. Like, I need you to write down the emotions, because these emotions, these feelings are the frequency. They are the frequency. After you get very clear, after you envision it, and after you write it down, the last step, okay, fourth and last step is, I just want you to every single day work towards feeling those feelings. I need you to start embodying it. I need you to start living out as if you are that character in the movie. I need you to start doing that right now. You need to start doing it and feeling it now. You need to become it from the inside out. So the episodes to come on Aulona Alchemy will all give you tools to support you in your journey of feeling how you want to feel. So you're going to have a lot of tools and resources here that are going to get you one step closer to your desired frequency. Okay. And you can also intuitively guide yourself. But now you have a roadmap, you know the path. It is the law of reception. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Tell me what you guys think about it. Do you like the law of reception? How does it sit with you? How does it resonate with you? Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It makes a big, big difference for me. I appreciate you so much. Have an amazing day, my loves.